When talking about the Ripple XRP problem, Kwon said that the SEC had asked Judge Torres to decide against Ripple. This request came at the same time as the SEC's post. It was decided by SEC that this message broke securities rules, and they told the federal court about it. In the remedies brief and other documents, officials from the cryptocurrency company Ripple said that the CC of the Securities and Exchange Commission was being rude. Permanent injunctions are part of this deal. Paying back money that was stolen, interest on damages, and more than $2 billion in legal fees for civil cases. Redactions are a punishment for the steps Ripple took that shook up the bull market. In its final finding brief, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission does not say that anyone was careless or dishonest. The SEC had filed a public brief against Ramesses, which the court heard. The brief pointed out violations of Section 5 of the Securities Act of 1933, as well as offers and sales of XRP that were not reported. In her July 13th decision on the summary judgment, Judge Annalisa Torres made it clear that the Securities and Exchange Commission has not claimed any fraud and is only after Ripple's growth, even though a case has been filed. Ripple has been told by the Securities and Exchange Commission that it needs to pay $876 million in disgorgement. The SEC is also asking for a draft judgment in its favor. It also has to pay a civil fine and interest on the debt of $1998, $115,940. The Securities and Exchange Commission says that most of Ripple's XRP sales after the complaint came from two organizations. This caused investors to lose money because the company didn't tell big investors about discounts. The Securities and Exchange Commission CC says that Ripple is continuing to break the law, lying about the decision, and avoiding following securities rules on purpose. Even though Ripple's CEO has said bad things about the SEC, Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, said that the $2 billion fine is unfair because there have been no claims of theft or carelessness. This is the only example that can be used to compare it to. That being said, Garlinghouse points out that the SEC abused its power in the debt box case and didn't follow the law properly in the Ripple case. Stuart Alderati says that the Securities and Exchange Commission doesn't seem to be following the rules. Instead, it seems to be punishing and scaring Ripple and the whole sector. Ripple will give the court its case on April 22nd, and the Securities and Exchange Commission will respond on May 6th. XRP is very expensive. People who support XRP say that the remedial brief did not include any facts that were not expected. On the other hand, Bill Morgan and James Frill, lawyers for Steel and Cigarette clients, it was said that Judge Torres put OL sales in Category 1, along with organizations in Ripple's. And even though Fred Rispoli thinks that the case will have an effect on Ripple, I think that the court will give both sides enough time to work out the fines and penalties. One of Ripple's lawyers said that the company hopes the SEC will have an edge if it doesn't change how it does business in response to Torres. In the event that this is not the case, the judge will decide if the new sales are good for Ripple. XRP has been in macro triangular consolidation for almost 5 years thanks to Bitcoin and is backed by Ripple Labs. It's possible that XRP will soon make a huge gain. DEX showed that XRP would try to repeat its all-time high sometime in the next few months. There has been a lot of growth. The different cryptocurrency has also chosen a shape that looks like a cup with a handle because of Ripple Labs and the payment system it has created. It is common for this style to come before a big move. The price of XRP has gone through the roof, and it is now easier to buy and sell. This new step could be very important in the Fred Rispoli case, according to a study of the legal fight that Ripple Labs was having with the SEC. There is a 40% chance that something important will happen, according to a lawyer. Yesterday, the SEC said that Ripple would have to pay a $2 billion fine. This is what happened because of the long legal battle that Ripple and the regulatory body have been in. Within the case of a famous Ripple supporter, the demand, which will soon be included in official records, marks a turning point. It was said by the SEC that Ripple had broken several important rules and an investigation was commenced. Ripple doesn't agree with what the SEC says and questions whether or not what they're saying is legal. So the rule that the regulator has to show that investors have been hurt is being questioned. However, Ripple made it clear that the move has big effects on both Ripple and the cryptocurrency industry as a whole. His predictions were that there would be a 40% chance of a long court battle and that Ripple would have trouble running its business. Important factors that Rispoli was able to figure out thanks to his motion studies, it was agreed that a final agreement would be reached after the verdict, and I think the chance is 40%. Rispoli brought up a number of important problems. Of these, selling other cryptocurrency to institutions at lower prices is one that causes a lot of debate. Rispoli brought to light a number of other important issues. In other words, regular buyers and people involved in the cryptocurrency community are not worried about what these price cuts might mean for the XRP market. It is likely that Ripple will win the case about how much money is due, but it is also possible that it could lose the case about what is allowed to happen from now on. That means you have to go to the second court and challenge. During their conversation, Rispoli also brought up the idea of selling XRP. Not long after the case was over, there were questions asked about the company's sources of income and the contracts with institutional buyers. He stressed how important it was that the court would soon make a decision about the legality of these contracts. Because of this decision, Ripple's business actions may change in some ways. Rispoli made an interesting point when he talked about how the discounts given to big buyers affected the price changes of XRP. He also talked about how big investors could change the way the market works to make XRP more appealing to buyers. A lot of people in the Ripple community were looking forward to the release of the automatic market makers. The amount of XRP traded has gone up a lot as the world's on-demand funding keeps growing in popularity. Yes, even though Ripple is in a court battle with the SEC, XRP is still one of the 10 most valuable digital assets.